Getting a person with a pulse and a passion to meet a need is not the end of recruiting. Doing your best to ensure that they are fulfilled in the role will help keep you from starting over with the recruiting process for that specific position. Now, not every volunteer will require the same level of ongoing support, but it's important to present them with the options for growth to increase their chances of success. There are many reasons why people need to step down, but what brings people to a breaking point most often falls into a few categories. The first would be disillusionment. In other words, this is not what I expected it would be. A second could be lack of results. I don't think I'm making an impact. And the third would be isolation. I cannot do this on my own. Who can help me? In order to help new volunteers be fulfilled in ministry, consider providing them with the following support methods. The first is getting their feet wet. Most of the volunteer positions that need to be filled are in the status of urgent by the time the leader steps up. This is a dangerous place to be if you're a new volunteer. It's very tempting to give the new volunteer 15 minutes of verbal instruction, an overview of what they will do, and the keys to a classroom. But if at all possible, do everything in your power to allow them a soft entry into the ministry role. Is there a former volunteer who is respected who could come back and train them? Can they take an additional week to walk alongside another leader who can model what is needed? What can you do to check in with them for the first few times they serve when they're on their own? How can you ensure they do not have to figure things out the hard way? Providing options to get their feet wet will help counter the disillusionment down the road. And this leads to the second support method which you need to provide: training and development. Keeping ministry leaders fulfilled in their role requires an investment in growth. Leaders must have options for where they can go for answers to challenges that they face. Content must be delivered in a variety of ways based on how they need it and how they can consume it. The needs of leaders will vary based on the role that they play as well as their ministry experience. Some of the common areas for ongoing training are connected to the following. Curriculum can change. So how do you help leaders adjust to the new format? Culture has challenges. What methods do you use to help equip them to navigate these successfully? New ministry elements can be added. So when and how will you communicate the reason behind the change as well as the details of how it impacts them? Some ministry positions require more one-on-one training. So can podcasts, books, district training events be utilized to help enrich the leaders? Consider putting funds aside for the sole purpose of investing in the leaders who serve. You may want to pay a registration fee or cover travel costs for a training event. Other times, a Skype session with a ministry expert will allow for dialogue, and that can be very effective. One of the best ways to foster growth is for you, the leader, to make sure that you have your own growth plan. Don't just read the popular leadership book recommended by ministry friends. Know what challenges your leaders are facing and study that content as well. Set a goal for how many books you will read each year. Master plan your own growth strategy. Don't let your growth happen by accident. This will naturally raise your level of leadership and will set a powerful example for those who serve alongside you. Growing leaders exhibit greater confidence, which helps them and their team feel more secure. The results of your personal growth will be felt and experienced. A secure and growing team will know that they are making a difference, and all of this is important as we lead into the last method of support. This may be the most important. Don't leave people stranded. To counter the issue of isolation, leaders need to connect with others. The most important connection, however, is with their immediate leader. Regardless of the size and the structure of the volunteer team, the individual who recruited them to the team and the one who provides the ongoing support are essential for providing connection. Providing regular intervals of feedback does two things. First, it increases the chances of troubleshooting problems before they get out of control. And second, it decreases the chances of a surprise if that person decides to step out of the ministry role. In addition to the support the ministry leaders will get from regular check-ins, many leaders value weekly support from other team members and parents. So work diligently to create a sense of team and belonging that all of the volunteers and the parents belong. Though some of the leaders may have a more direct role in connecting with the heart of a child, those who do administration are just as important to the success of the ministry. So build a culture that shares the victories among all the volunteers. Those who make sure the check-in system are just as crucial to families' experience as a small group leader who remembers a child's name. Affirm each role. Appreciate each individual's sacrifice and investment. What you affirm will be repeated. Remember, the way that people receive affirmation and express themselves is unique. So make a point to explore a variety of methods of providing feedback and support. No leader likes the feeling that they signed up for a ministry with a team, but then find themselves feeling each week like they're shouldering the burden in isolation. A few moments of intentional connection and a strategy to include them as a member of a team can make a significant difference in keeping a volunteer fulfilled and serving on the team for the long haul. Recruiting leaders takes intentionality. It's work that never has a finish line if you're in church ministry. But if you follow this process from building a strategy all the way through to providing ongoing support, you will find leaders much more satisfied in the role that they play and the team that they're on. This will result in more effective leaders at discipling the next generation.